during your sports career, you have been following studies, right? You studied in France and then you went to the USA. How this opportunity came to you and why did you decided to do that? I was invited to go to USC when I was 19,
Oh,
full scholarship, but I refused.
no
I
way.
do it. I was very scared about, how, athletes in the USA, they train very hard. Can you tell us about that? So why did you accept it and what was your experience?
So I decided to go. They didn't came at me with a scholarship.
Okay.
So I wanted to change environment. I wanted to discover something. And the funny story is that my parents met to the USA and they got
Oh,
married to the USA when they were younger. So I had something, I was attracted to the USA no matter what.
mhm.
So when I did 2 years after high school in France, I told my mom, okay, mom, I'm going to the US next year. I don't know how, but I want to go. So she was like, okay, just do what you want. So I started to ask universities like how everything works, how to get a scholarship. I was talking to coaches. I was doing Zoom like we're doing with them so I can know more about
The
the
culture and
environment, the
environment.
training, the teammates, the city. And when I found the University of Oregon, I had a very good chat with one of the coaches. So
Mhm.
she was a distance coach, so nothing to deal with sprints. But I had this good intuition. And I was like, oh, I kind of like how she's talking about the team over there and things like this. So I decided to sign a couple months later. And when I got to the USA, even if I was in a small city, the campus was big, the facilities were big, and everything was made for the athletes to perform, and I pretty easily found my spot on the team. I was the only the only European in the sprints and hurdles team. And it was funny to train. So I was only with Canadians, Jamaicans, and Americans. But it was fun to bring this little European side
Mhm.
that the people never really knew before. Um, so I had a very good time training there. I met amazing people. My coach was amazing. So everything was good. The training were different. I
Oh,
would say that I was already training hard in France,
okay, you
and
were training hard in France,
yeah,
but
but in the US it was just different. It was more so the way they were training was very how to say this? Basically, when you start full training in September, you go slowly, but
building up. Yeah.
yes, every week is like you have one more rep and one more rep and one more rep until you get to the end of the full training, and then you're completely um tired because
But
you went so high in the weight room. I mean, you just do more repeats, heavier, but sometimes when you do track, you have to go very hard, and then your body is building.
new strengths, resilience, and
Exactly.
endurance, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I liked the way they were training and their mentality, very positive. So it was a great
So how could you define the differences in leadership in athletics training, high performance training in France and in the USA? And how did you combine both of them? Because I'm sure like you brought back some great insights and tools, things that you have been using until today.
Yes. So to me, the biggest difference was their like how they manage a team. They don't manage individuals, they manage a team. So you do the same as your teammates. You like they don't make a difference if you don't like to do repeats 400 meters, they don't care. You just do the same because it's good for you and it's good for the rest of the team. So it's a little weird because they don't like to adapt specific training to a specific person. They think that we are gonna be stronger if you do things together. So I'm not saying that this doesn't exist in France, but I've never felt this that strong in France. In the US, it's really like we go together, we do things together, we do the warm up together, and sometimes it's so much that you're like, oh, it's too much, you know? But this is making the team do great. I mean, this is what I saw in the US. Making things for the team make the group go better, and they're not in the adversity that much like people can think. They're just like, okay, if you push your teammates, tomorrow your teammate's gonna push you, and if your teammate is doing good, then tomorrow you're gonna do good. And I think this is very true, and they're not training in like a no the on a, how to say, um they're training in a way very optimistic. People outside the US are thinking that they're all fighting to each other, they're rude to each other, but this is not, in my opinion, my experience at all. They're just competitive, but they're also very kind to each other, because tomorrow, if you want to be the best, then you need teammates that are good too, because you're not going to be the best of the world if you train with the worst of the world. So that's something I really like. This is very American mindset, but they do excellence
Mm,
with excellence.
that's very interesting. So you're transitioning now to another stage, another level in your life. You just turned 24.
Yes.
24 is very like it's turning point from a career. I remember I made my first Olympics when I was 24, and
Okay.
because I was not qualified for the 20, 2000 Olympics from Sydney. I made it to the podium, but I was not selected because they thought I'm too young and I'm not going to be good, you know. So I had to wait 4 years extra to make it to the Olympics. Um, but I can see your generation, like you're ready, like by the age of 20, you know, you're ready to make it to the team and to become a leader. And actually, 24 is like confirmation age.
Exactly. Yeah, 24 now is not, it's not young.
Yeah. So
It's
how do you
very
feel
good
about
at
that?
18, 19, so
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Because I think most of your like your competition, they have already win European World Championships.
yeah,
They have already like great names. And I know as French athletes, we tend to think like small, like, you know,
exactly.
how do you see that transition going on for you? Like you're planning to compete at the Olympics, right? LA 2028.
Yeah, I hope so, because when I was at school at the University of Oregon, we went to LA so many times. It
Mm.
was close to us. So I know LA very well, and I love the US so much. So I wish my second Olympic game experience could be there.
So
So that kind of means I ran once at home and once in my like second home in 2028. So that would be
yeah.
amazing to know. So now, like I was saying in off to you,
Mm.
I'm like in a different project. So since I was done with school at the University of Oregon, you have to rebuild everything. And after the Olympics, I wanted a little break. So I did things that I'm not used to do when I'm performing and training every day. So I volunteered in a French school in South America. Uh, I recently started, sorry,
Wow, amazing.
it was amazing. I was able to learn Spanish. So this was in Colombia for 6 months. So I was able to learn Spanish. Sorry, I was able to learn Spanish after I started recently an internship. and a new master's degree at EM Lyon.
Mhm.
So I also want to take care of what's gonna be next after my career. So I'm taking care of this now, and at the same time trying to find little puzzles for my track career because like you said 24 is not too young but it's not too old, so you can still keep going at 24.
Definitely. So I understand that you were making like a game plan for the next
Exactly.
few years
Yeah,
upcoming.
yeah, I know the road can be long because when people, after Olympics in Paris were like, "Oh, now what's next? 2028?" And I'm like, "Okay, yes, but first let me take a break." And then, yes, we're gonna find a new organization, new coach, new everything, and then make 2028 happen. But if you don't make the good choices, the road is gonna be long and hard. And I just want to find the good people around me. And then when I know I'm around the good people, I'll go.
Interesting. That's wise. And of course, it's the moment for that. Um, um, yes. So I think we have everything. Thank you so much. So how do you see yourself in the future? How do you see Shana in the future? Do you have like a vision of that, or maybe you want to keep it for yourself? But is it related to your studies in management or your sports career? We know a sports career is very short. In the same time, it goes fast, and at the same time, it's a long,
Mm.
like a marathon where you have to build things up. So maybe it's too early to ask that question, but how do you vision yourself in the future?
So I like many things, and I think I'm someone pretty open-minded. So I'm always ready for new things, new adventures. So I see myself either on the track career or my professional career uh, all around the world because that's what makes me happy.
Yes.
It's discovering people, culture,
Yeah.
learning new languages. Every time I go somewhere, I want to learn. I went to Brazil, I started to learn Portuguese. I
Mhm.
went to Colombia, I started to learn Spanish.
Mhm.
I went to Hong Kong, I wanted to learn Cantonese. Like I want to know everything, every languages. Like
Amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
passionate about this.
Yeah.
So I see myself as a leader either on the sports side or in a company. I just want to, I don't know, do something for people.
Mm.
It's not very defined, but I would like to work internationally in what, I don't know, maybe commercial, something, I don't know, trade, I don't know.
Mhm. That's very interesting because you're super, like, what makes you the most happy is actually the energy that drives you. And so many years I didn't type on that. I didn't understand that for the same reason I wanted to become an Olympian was that to travel, meet new people, and to see the beauty of sports, and how far I can go. So it's really great that you already know that, and that when you go into a competition, you tap that energy of joy, full happiness, of being there and just unfolding your talent versus I have to prove how much I'm great and I have to be the best, otherwise I don't belong. And
Mm,
I think this is one fundamental.
yeah. I think
Um,
I can just add something. I think something I want to do in the future is to help kids and help women.
mm,
Uh, I mean, that's the thing that I would like the most in sports or something else. But to me, sport has been so incredible in my life, because when you do sports, like you said, you travel, you discover new people, you discover new countries that you probably would never have been otherwise.
yeah,
So I would like to help people who cannot do this because so many reasons, because sometimes when you're a woman, you cannot access to facilities, or when you're a kid and you
mm,
don't have money, you cannot buy shoes or something. So I would do something for helping
Mm.
minorities to, just do the best as they can and just have fun, because sport is something fun. Not always, but
Yes.
at the very beginning, it's supposed to be something fun.
Mm.
So I would like to help people to have fun around sport. That would be something that makes me very happy.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shana, for joining us. It was so interesting, your whole journey, and we can't wait to see what's gonna come after that in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I will let you know the updates.
Thank you for tuning into Olympian's Diary, where we dive deep in the minds of Olympians and uncover the stories, the struggles, and triumphs behind the world's most dedicated athletes. Stay tuned as we continue our journey into the hearts and minds of those who've reached the pinnacle of their sports. You won't want to miss the incredible insights and lessons we have ahead. This podcast was made possible by Jewelbox, the music production studio that keeps our sound on point.